Welcome back, loyal listeners, and welcome back to Into the RioT. I'm Mike, and as always, I'm here with my brother Kevin. Today we're going to chat about what defines this club today, and what it could withstand changing with the rest of the league. We've worn the blue-collar name tag like a badge of honor for years. We pride ourselves on the Herriman pipeline in the RSL Academy, and the mentality is the team is the star. But as the league turns toward global superstars and Hollywood recruitment, Kevin, I have to ask, do we want to be gritty or great?
Well, why can't we be both? Today we're putting our thoughts and facts under the microscope. Mike, the league around us is changing. The lights are getting brighter. We're seeing 9-figure rosters, global icons. Is it time for an evolution, or are we risking everything that makes Real Salt Lake special? Grab your scarf and settle in. This is episode 10 of Into the RioT, and today we're stirring the pot.
All right. Kevin, is the team the star? The view is RSL has historically been in the top 4 in the West year after year, pretty consistently.
Yep.
We've had some up and down seasons.
Yeah.
But they're also the team that often stalls in the semifinals. And almost every champion since 2018 has had at least one difference maker who can solve a match within a moment of brilliance when the system starts to fail. Kevin, can you name a team in the last 5 years that's won the MLS Cup without a global category superstar?
I was kind of thinking about it, and no, I don't think that I can.
Well, there is 2 teams.
Okay.
One that David Villa played for, and that was NYCFC,
Mm-hmm.
but they won the cup in 2021 without him, the year after he left. And then the Columbus Crew in 2020. But those are really the only teams that are kind of the exception. If they don't exist, why do we RSL fans, why do we think that we can be that exception also?
Well, it's a good question, and I don't know if I know the answer, but it's always I think been hard for any Utah team to get the big player here. I think with our academy and the way that we play, at least watching how they play this year with the heart and that grit that we're talking about, I don't know if it's really 100% needed. I guess we'll find out, but
Yeah, I agree. Today on the show, we're going to have a handful of questions we're just going to throw out. We're going to hash through. And let's start with this one. I'm going to throw this one out. Is one moment of brilliance from these quote unquote global category superstars worth 10 to 15 million if it means you can't afford 4 high level role players who actually get you to the playoffs in the first place?
I don't think that it is. I I think that you spend that kind of money on that one person, um, and then maybe you don't have I guess the money for the signings for the skill for the other positions. And what if that one player that we pick up for 10 to 15 million ends up getting hurt or doesn't have that RSL pride that we're looking for?
Right. I mean, it's kind of happening in front of our face right now.
Yeah.
I mean, we bought a bunch of players for a significant amount less than 10 to 15 million dollars a player, and it's working.
Yeah.
So you're saying then you'd rather have three $3 million system players who fit the grit and the heart of RSL over one $10 million game changer who might, like you said, skip a rotation, a game or two.
It'd always be fun to see a big name player on your team, I think. But yeah, I think that I'd rather have people that fit into the system and can make the change with the whole team instead of him making a change by himself, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look at it this way. I mean, we've got Diego Luna,
Hmm.
who is a big name in the MLS.
Yeah.
He's made himself a popular name across the U.S. national men's team. We've got Gilovagi, who is kind of making a lot of noise, I think, around the
Yeah.
league with his touches and with his pinpoint passing. We've got Gozo, who's a young phenom who, hell, I mean, if we can keep these players, it's a big if because there's a
Yeah.
lot of money that's going to be thrown in front of these guys' face, especially the young Gozo and Luna and possibly even Solans.
Yep.
You know, if we can keep those will be the stars.
Oh yeah.
Those will be the stars that we're trying to keep in for maybe $5 to $10 million.
Yep.
So if we stay with this gritty play, this blue collar badge that we're talking about, and finish fourth in the West every year, but never lift the MLS Cup, is that success or is that failure for this front office?
I don't know if it's failure, but I don't know if it's I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be success either. I mean, you don't want every year for, however long to come up short all the time. Sooner or later, fans, everything are gonna want that trophy.
Yeah. This year, it's already a success story from
Oh
what
yeah,
the front office has done.
for sure.
But I think if it's a consistent thing where yeah, we're making the playoffs every year or we're getting dumped out in the first round or, make it to the semifinals and get bumped, then I guess we have to rethink some things. But right now it's working. Right
Yeah.
now is the star of the team. Yeah, absolutely. We got a bunch of moving pieces that are moving really well together. I think right now it's kind of crushing the debate right now. The team is the star.
I agree.
So
100%.
yeah, so is RSL playing to be competitive or to play or playing to win it all? I mean, I think I think right now it's both
Yeah.
because they're completely competitive
Oh
and they're
yeah.
playing to win every game.
Yeah. You can see it. You can see it in their play for sure that they're out there to they want to win it all.
Yeah. So let's move to Academy and talk about that for a minute. RSL's had the crown jewel of academies across the MLS since the Academy was brought into an idea for the MLS.
Hmm.
Does signing a big name player block the path for the next local kid?
Yeah, I do think that it blocks the path for these young kids. If you bring that Hollywood player in, big name player, then we're not going to see the Moisa and you know his Arcani and things like that. You're not going to see those players get pulled up because you've put the money and they're going to be a starter. You're not going to see those other kids come up.
Yeah, but yeah, you won't because they won't have a spot on the team. And and then you're ending up selling the kid, to keep the veteran.
Yeah.
That brings up another question: is it better to develop a kid and sell him to Europe or some other team for $5 million, or keep him and use that $5 million to buy a veteran?
See, and I know we kind of talked about it, but I think that's the fun thing about European soccer. You know, you have teams like, well, I'm a Manchester City fan, so we'll go there. But with the Phil Foden, and he's grew up in Manchester, went to their academy, plays for him, has great success for the team, and those are the stories you want to see. You want to be able to see that. You want to be able to grow that in your own club. And I don't know, you'll never see that if you keep on going after the next big name or the Hollywood player.
Okay, so are we more proud of the homegrown kid starting for RSL, or a world famous veteran wearing the claret and cobalt?
I think for me, I I think I'd be more proud to see a kid brought up through the academy. I mean, if a big name player came in and they actually have this grit and passion for the crest and everything, I think that would be fun also. But I do like the academy story. I like how to see these kids grow and develop and become superstars themselves.
Well, how much fun is it this year?
It's been a blast.
Yeah, I mean, Herzog Connie and Gozo, he was kind of a story last year. I mean,
Hmm.
the story continues because he's becoming a star right in front of our eyes.
Well, and I think the
And
best, sorry, I
no,
think the best example is Justin Glad.
yes, absolutely.
He came out of the academy, and I mean, he's stuck with his team from day one, and he is our rock in that back line.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. He's been how long has he been playing now?
14? I don't know.
It's been a long time, and it's all been in the claret and cobalt every minute.
Yep.
Which brings up another question. It's been said that a 19-year-old prospect learns more in 6 months training with a big star, a global icon, than he does in 3 years of standard MLS play. Do you believe that?
I mean, I can see it. I mean, but also, I don't know if that's true for everyone. And then what happens when that player leaves the club? Or I mean, sure, they're still going to have the you know everything that they've learned.
Well,
I'm sure that these kids do pick up a lot from these big players.
yeah, I have to believe that it's true,
Okay.
because there's no other reason why we send these boys overseas to England or Germany, and they come back better players, because they're surrounded by better players who, they have to learn quickly, one, to be able to play the speed and the technical way of how they play. Not just that, but they're watching these players every single day as they're
Yeah.
growing up. And I think it's been said that the best teacher is watching the game.
Yeah.
And I think that's very true. I think if a young soccer player starting out in Utah, the more that they can watch the professional level, I think the better and the higher soccer IQ they will have going forward in their own little career.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that, even when Messi went into Miami that first year. I mean, Miami was horrible the first year of their existence,
Hmm.
and he comes in and the team didn't change a whole lot right at first when he came in, and he made all those younger players have this different belief. And, I'm sure they picked up a lot of stuff just in the few weeks that they even had him before their first game with him, and they were a different team with him.
Yeah, I think that's key with what you said is the players around Messi had a different belief and a different confidence. I think Messi makes the players around him better in two different ways. One, I believe that they're more keyed on stopping Messi than the other players around him.
Mhm.
And two, just what you said. They're playing with a larger confidence, and they're not afraid because they have a big superstar that they're playing with.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Mhm.
Would it be too far-fetched to say maybe a homegrown kid would rather play 90 minutes in a losing effort or 70 minutes alongside the big legend while lifting a trophy?
I think everyone wants to win, so
I think everybody wants to play too.
well, it's true. But that we've been talking about that all season long too, how all of our players, the depth and the coach talking about how they all know their role and what they're expected of when they go in and what kind of minutes they're going to get. I think it all goes hand in hand. But yeah, I mean, sure, they all want to play, they all want to win, but I think they're all there to win trophies and to win games.
Yeah, and that's how you become a better player too. The more
Yep.
time on the ball, more time on the pitch, for sure.
Yeah.
So everybody talks about, including myself, and I truly believe this is a true thing, but they talk about Salt Lake, Real Salt Lake, being a small market. If the
Yep.
big spenders keep getting bigger, does the gap between RSL and the elite teams in the league become unbridgeable?
I don't know. It really just goes along with this season. I don't think it really makes it. I don't think we have this gap between these teams. We haven't played them, the LAFC or Miami this year yet. And LAFC is having a great year, and it's gonna be a good game to see where we really stand. But I don't think you have to be a big spender to keep close to these elite teams. I think our team's really shown this year, no matter what, whoever we're playing, we're always kind of been put as the underdog, no matter who we play, and we just
Yeah.
keep on finding ways to win. So
Well, I think it's important that RSL does something different anyway, because Real Salt Lake's never going to be able to outspend LAFC, Miami, or Galaxy, or San Diego, or anybody
New
who's
York,
pumping
yeah,
New York. Anybody, yeah, any of these clubs that have people that just pumping in money
yep,
year after year after year. If I think if RSL competes on just the quote unquote star power alone, they're always going to lose to the big markets, the ones on the coast, the New Yorks, the Seattles, the California teams, because superstars want to be in the brightest light.
yep,
So I think to be honest with you, RSL I think is kind of right on line. I really like the direction they've taken. I mean there was probably, I would say there was probably about a 4 to 6 year gap where it looked like, man, RSL's going to be mid-table to low table in the standings,
yeah,
because they weren't developing anybody. And if they were developing them, it just seemed like, oh, well, they're being sold off to somewhere across seas or to a neighboring MLS club.
right. I think that you're right though. This they do. they do need to do something different in this. And like you said, this year they did something different, and I think it has a lot to do with the Millers and everyone that has put their trust and money into this team. And not only do we have the youth coming up, but we've made the bigger signings that you didn't really see in the past with
Yeah.
Real Salt Lake.
Yeah, Pablo, he I think he touched on this the last two interviews, post-game interviews, that the superstar of this club, the superstars of this club are the scouts this year.
Yeah. Oh heck yeah.
The scouting this year for Real Salt Lake has been untouchable by
Yeah.
anybody else. I truly think maybe the Red Bulls have, something
Yeah.
going on there too, because they've got a pretty young, dynamic team also. But focusing on the scouting and the undervalued players that Real Salt Lake has found in this offseason, instead of chasing the big names, I mean, it's been huge. It's been huge for RSL this year.
Yep.
I mean, these players could be big time players in the MLS for the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. And just like we were talking about in the last episode with the loan offer, or the loan that we did, and getting that third round draft pick, it kind of, when I heard that we got their pick, it made me kind of excited, just because of how well our scouting did this year. It's just gives them an extra opportunity to find another gem.
Yeah. And to find as many as they did, and then they sold this Zambrano off to, was it New England, for, I think it was, I don't even know, $150,000 or something like that, plus a third round draft pick in the super draft. I mean, that front office at Real Salt Lake, they're working hard. They've probably worked harder than they have since Jason Kreis was in leadership there.
Oh yeah.
As a coach.
Yep. Yeah, it's been fun to kind of see how much he's changed his club in every aspect, every position he's had in the club.
Yeah, it's great to have him back.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And I think he's really one of the main powers that's pushing this whole style of not only scouting, possibly the play on the field. It's fun to see, it's fun to watch, and it's fun to be part of this year.
Yep.
So let's stir things up a little bit. Can a system team like RSL still survive in a quote unquote superstar world, in a superstar league?
Yeah, I think that they can. They're showing it so far.
Yeah, they're doing it right now.
Yeah.
They're doing it right now. And in my perfect world, a superstar, I've always, in the years that I've coached youth soccer, I've always really tried to tell parents, don't pay your kids for scoring goals.
Right.
And for the superstar, it's not just about goals. It's about staying relevant in a league when they're old enough to make wins count.
Yeah.
So it's more about staying relevant in the league that, for RSL, that's rapidly becoming, maybe short of a global brand. I mean, MLS is growing quickly.
Yeah.
At probably the same rate Canada is probably growing at the same rate. Their soccer league at the same rate. So relevance, I think, comes from winning.
Yep.
And no one really cares about the global signing if RSL signs someone that's a big name. No one's going to care if RSL's sitting in 12th place in the West.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I believe I believe with what they're doing, and when everybody else is zagging, they're taking the zig or the zag. They're doing the opposite. I think this is a plan that can work, and that can, if they do it right and the timing is right. I mean, there might be some little bit of gaps, but if they can do it right and time it right and get lucky, they're always going to have players coming up and being able to play with the superstars on Real Salt Lake and growing with them.
Yep, for sure.
So is the RSL culture strong enough to survive? Do you think, if hypothetically, is RSL's culture strong enough to survive a massive ego in the locker room right now? Or is our chemistry too fragile for a superstar at this moment?
I don't think our chemistry is too fragile, but if you listen to any of these players talk in interviews, social media, whatever it is, these players, they love each other. They will run forever for these guys. I mean, just listen to anything that these guys talk about, and they talk about the brotherhood, and they talk about how much they want to play for each other. But I do think if you were to get a big time name in there and they didn't have the same type of energy or chemistry as this team does right now, I think it would ruin it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna throw this out. Here's a scenario for you. If Real Salt Lake brought in Cristiano Ronaldo, would that massive ego in the locker room make the play better, or would it break things apart?
I think it would break it apart. I mean, do I think that he could do the same thing that Messi has done for a club? I think so. But with how Real is playing, and like I says, the way that they are as a club, the chemistry they have as a team, you bring someone like that pretty much wants the ball at his foot all the time, you're gonna have the rest of the team just wondering what they're there for.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that it would ruin it.
I agree. At this point, I agree 100%, for the fact that we are young, and the confidence in those young players very much coincides with the encouragement and the confidence that the veteran players on this team give them. So give both the young kids on this club and the veterans, probably the veterans more than the young kids, multiple props,
Oh
because
yeah.
they're the ones that are driving this thing, I think.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So Mike, we're at a crossroads. Are we the club that wins with homegrown heart, or the one that finally breaks the bank to join the elite clubs? Is our identity a badge of honor or a barrier to the next level? The $1,000,000 question: do we want grind or do we want glamour? Because at the end of the day, Real Salt Lake, it's a standard. Whether it's a kid from Herriman or a legend from Europe, if they aren't willing to sweat for the claret and cobalt, they don't belong on this pitch. We want to hear from you. You can visit us at Instagram or Facebook. We want to know, are you team grind or team glamour? Drop your take in the comments and on our social media.
And that's going to wrap it up, Kevin. Until next time, stay loud, stay loyal, and stay with us at Into the RioT. Vamos Real.